Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. These are African basil cuttings that I started 2 weeks ago. And I have to say basil has to be one of the easiest plants to start from cuttings because I've tried just regular Italian basil before in the past from the store. And yeah, they form roots pretty quickly. You just stick them in water. And these in particular were forming roots by the end of the first week. So it's been a little over 2 weeks now, and I think there is a point where they'll start just all of a sudden die because of their, they've been in the water too long. So I want to get these into soil. I brought some soil in before we had the frost last night, but then I found a bag of moisture control potting mix I think I'll use. Oh, one other thing is I had this on a southern facing window on the windowsill, and they were doing great. And you have a lot of material drop when these flowers are forming, and then they pass. And all of a sudden, I noticed all this debris on the windowsill, and it was all these little tiny little specks. And it ended up there were droppings from 2 caterpillars that were just chomping away through these leaves here. So luckily, I found them in time and cleaned up the windowsill to make sure that I got all the caterpillars. So I checked the windowsill and there wasn't any more debris on the windowsill. But yeah, even though it was late in the season, there were 2 caterpillars on these things. I did notice that the African basil, which is kind of strange, you would think, this is something that likes the heat. This plant really took off at the end of the season. It seemed to like the cooler nights. Became a really large plant and was a really good late season source of nectar, I guess, for the bees, because they were all over this. So let's get this into soil. Sometimes you just want to procrastinate and say you can just buy another one the following year, but why when you can just propagate the plant and have it go on. So hopefully these will survive through the winter into next spring. And I'll have some African basil that I can put out in the garden again. So I don't know how many plants I actually have in here. Let's take a look at these roots here. Look at those roots. So I got 3. I thought I had more, but these are they split here. But yeah, nice healthy roots on that. I think it's time to get that in the soil. And they're really fragrant. It's almost like when you just gently touch a tomato plant and you get that smell. Get the smell of basil just from touching these. So I'll put that into this pot here. So this is pretty dry. It's in a sealed bag. But this is probably a little bit better than the soil that I brought out from the garden. It probably has a lot of critters in it. I don't think there's anything in this. Yeah, just notice it's got roots all the way up the stem there. So probably bury this a little bit deeper like that. So the fork there is near the soil line, I think. No, I have I don't know if I want to put 2 stems. No, I've got 4 plants here. Maybe I'll double up on this and put 2 plants in here. Yeah, put 2 plants in here, 2 stems. So I'm just going to water this in, and I have a nice bright south-facing window here in the kitchen. I'll put this on the windowsill, and it should do great until the spring when I can put it outside again. So this is New England gardening with some African basil cuttings that I started 2 weeks ago, potting them up into soil. Thanks for watching.